you guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to bring you in the front yard garden. We are going to be touring just outside the potager. I've got a new garden there. It's a work in progress, but it looks so pretty right now. And we're also going to tour the strip along the driveway that's just filled with blooms. In early spring, it's filled with lots of daffodils, but right now it's got like loads of hardy hibiscus blooming, and it's just striking. So let's head down to the garden and see what's blooming today. Since we've covered the potager, let's talk about what's planted outside, and I'll take you along the driveway where we've got lots of beautiful flowers blooming. So to start, I just want to highlight my planters here. These are aquapots from Proven Winners. They have a self-watering reservoir in the bottom. So I probably fill the reservoirs like maybe every other week, and they keep my flowers hydrated. I have them filled with a calibrachoa and fanflower and a couple other goodies. I'll list everything in the description below so you have a full plant list. So I wanted to give you guys a tour of this garden because this whole section is practically new, and I've made some little tweaks along the driveway border that I think you're gonna love. But this part of the driveway garden, now this sits just off the potager. I just took you guys on a tour of the potager a few weeks ago, but just to give you a little background on this bed, this was completely covered in pachysandra. There were some holes in there, and I started just like moving some plants over to kind of see what I wanted to do here. The only plant that was actually here was that hydrangea paniculata. So unfortunately, I don't know what the variety is, but it's really beautiful and it does well every year. Looks fabulous right now. I mean, the hydrangeas this year here in my Zone 6B garden are doing amazing. Are they doing really amazing where you are too? So just to give you a little lay of the land here, I've got a lot planted, and this bed is definitely going to change. I don't want to do this many annuals moving forward, but because we had just cleared it and that was a lot of work, I just wanted to get the bed planted with stuff. So here we are planted, and I'm going to give you a little lowdown on what's blooming. So along the back there, I've already told you about the hydrangea paniculata. I've also got some zinnias. That beautiful vintage pink is from Floret. It's precious metals, and I started them from seed. Really, really gorgeous zinnia. I've got some sunflowers along the back. They are strawberry blonde, and then I've got a beautiful limelight hydrangea along the back there in bloom that I planted as well. We've got some Sunbelievable sunflowers there from Proven Winners. The blades of grass that you see are, it's not actually grass, it's bearded iris foliage. They're done blooming, but the foliage still adds a little texture and drama to the garden. For those of you new here, if you are unfamiliar with my gardens, there are several tree sculptures here. There are several tree sculptures here. That's like a tongue twister. And one of which we have this anchor and a chain. There's actually like a light on it, so it kind of serves two purposes. But yes, these were carved from trees. And let me just tell you, planted with flowers, it looks so much better than what it looked like with pachysandra. So I've got two sunflowers in this bed that I did not plant. They're volunteers. Happy about it. One of them got pelted in a storm, and so I've been trying to keep it going, but I think I'm just gonna cut it down at this point. It's on its last legs, it's done blooming, and I mean, I was just kind of hoping to get the seeds out of the heads at this point. But the other one's still intact, so I figure it kind of balances out that look. I've got a baby's breath spirea there, and it reseeded itself as well from the shrub on the other side. I do love it. It's going to get a lot bigger, and it gets gorgeous fall color. So it gets these beautiful white flowers in the spring. It kind of has that textured chartreusey foliage now, and then in the fall it gets like this brilliant autumn color. So it's really a great addition to the garden. I am going to probably shift it around when I redo this bed in the fall, but I love it. It's definitely staying. I've also got some moonbeam coreopsis here, some fanflower, excuse me. It's fanflower, whirlwind pink by Proven Winners. This is ageratum that I started from seed. This is the first time I've ever grown ageratum, and I will forever have it in my gardens because I love it. Easy to start from seed, easy to grow, looks amazing, and dries really well. I've been drying it in the drying house. I've also got some scabiosa here. This is my first time growing that as well. I just kind of threw it in here, so it's really tall for the rest of the bed. I wouldn't do that again, but I had some extras and I had some space because my tulips were done, and I was like, let me throw them in here. And so here they are. You know, you have to experiment with things when you garden, right? I would definitely like to do something a little lower here. In hindsight, I wish these were where the fanflower is, and the fanflower was out here, but I came into acquiring those well after I had planted these, and I just was not moving things around. I've also got sedum autumn joy there that I dug and divided. I've got some straw flowers in there as well. And I think, and I do also have some status in here as well that I started from seed. And that is that section of the garden. Just to give you a quick little overview, this is a dry riverbed. We have a lot of drainage issues here, and this helps get the water down to the brook of the property. And now this section of the garden, a lot of this was existing. I did tweak it a little bit. Really beautiful this time of year, which is one of the reasons why I want to show it to you. It does house thousands of daffodil bulbs in that bed, which I don't know if you remember, but my snowplow person literally drove through the bed, and I was like devastated. And before you comment that I need to have stakes, I had stakes. They drove through the stakes. I really think I want to do like boulders or something in there, because that would at least kind of help prevent trucks from driving through. It's actually become quite a problem. And it's become enough of a problem where I'm going to probably move a lot of these perennials either out or down. It's just a shame because, you know, to have just a strip of nothing there looks odd. I do want to have it planted, but having trucks continually drive over it is a problem. So I don't know. That's why I was thinking maybe putting in some boulders would be a good solution to kind of, I mean, the driveway is wide enough. There's just kind of no reason. And it's a straight shot. So I don't know. Anywho, let's talk about what's in the garden. I've got another baby's breath spirea here. Moonbeam coreopsis throughout the bed, this gorgeous butterfly bush that, let me tell you, last year I had 2 branches starting to break off. So I just literally cut them off and stuck them in the ground over there. They rooted and they're blooming. I mean, I can't even get over it. It looks amazing. We've had lots of butterflies here. It's really just been magical this time of year. I've also got some caryopteris. This is just starting to bloom. One of my favorite late summer flowering shrubs. I love the pretty blue flowers that it gets. You just can't beat it. And I've got a volunteer. So I'm probably going to be moving that one over here in the fall. I'm just kind of starting to think everything through of where I want it all to go. This border is stunning. Hardy hibiscus. It's amazing. And I have to say that this year it has significantly less Japanese beetle damage to it. And I'm going to tell you why. So for the last 2 years, I've been applying milky spore to the lawn, number 1. And number 2, we've been overseeding the lawn with tall fescue. Rutgers Cooperative Extension did a whole study on different types of grass seed and Japanese beetles and found that they do not love to lay their eggs in tall fescue. They still did to a degree, but not as much as all the other types of grasses. So at my old house, and what I've been doing here is I've been changing the lawn over to tall fescue, and I will literally tell you there's much less Japanese beetles this year on my plants. I still have some damage, but I expect it to decline year after year. I've got some nepeta in the beds too that is still blooming, which is really beautiful. Hard to plant anything in here because of the daffodil bulbs. I have some sedums in here as well, different types of sedums. Sedum autumn joy that I neglected to spray. Some deer got to it, and I've been spraying now, which is why you see new growth. I've got another black-eyed Susans here that I moved from my front porch garden. Agapanthus, let me tell you, Agapanthus, it's not hardy to my zone. I think it's zone 7 and up. Maybe it's like 7 to 10. We were visiting Napa one year and I fell in love with it and I wanted to grow it ever since. I saw it at the nursery. I quickly snagged it and I think I'm going to try to dig them up and overwinter them so I can replant them again. I love, love, love them here in this garden. And actually, I wasn't even planning on putting them in here. I just had a space for it. And because, you know, it was one of those purchases where you're at the nursery and you're like, I'm just going to buy it and figure out where it's going to go. Well, I put it here and I actually really love it here with that hardy hibiscus, with the hardy hibiscus and the foliage on it. I mean, it's just a great combination. And not to mention, I also do really like it with the moonbeam coreopsis as well. It's just a really pretty combo. And as you can see along the back there, you can see my Limelight hydrangea border, which we're going to get to in a minute. I do have St. John's wort. It's kind of seen better days. It's done. It's been really hot and dry here, and this is a very dry bed. So I don't think it's loving the summer this year. So it's a little bit on the struggle bus, and it's wrapped up blooming. So, you know, we're kind of done there. These are the 2 butterfly bushes that I planted from the branches and they just took and they're doing great. So I propagated those really easily and we're getting loads of butterflies. What else is in this bed? I've got some weeds. I've got some garlic that I need to pull. I, again, ran out of space, so I just kind of threw them in there. I've got a spirea that reseeded itself and is blooming. Doesn't usually bloom this late, but it is. Nandina. And then we're gonna kind of walk down my driveway to the Limelight hydrangea border, which I love. This bed is a work in progress, so we're kind of gonna skip that side of the bed. But over here, Limelight hydrangeas. And when we first moved here, and the first spring that we were here, I wasn't even sure what was planted here because the deer were just eating it down to a nub. Well, the following season, I decided to be really proactive with spraying deer repellent last year, and I saw that we had these gorgeous limelights, and I mean, they're stunning. I just have to maintain the deer repellent spray or they will start eating. As you can see here, they've visited. So yesterday I just heavily sprayed these once again so that they don't do damage. And unfortunately, you know, it's a part of gardening. So if you live in a heavily deer prone area, you just have to keep up with it. And so I try to do it once every like 4 weeks-ish, sometimes sooner than that, so I can keep a steady set of blooms. And that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me in the Front Yard Gardens today. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy a beautiful day.